Hello everyone. The first topic in this lecture is called as electric dipole. As the name tells us, di means two. So it is a system of two equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance. That is called as dipole. Keep in mind that pole is a common term. If we look at the Earth's surface also, there are two poles called as North Pole and then South Pole. Similarly, if we look at a bar magnet, even that has two poles called as north and south. So the idea of pole is not restricted only to charges, it's a common term. In terms of electrostatics, it is a system of two equal and opposite charges having a small separation, which means if we have a charge, say Q, the other charge should have same magnitude as that of Q but opposite in polarity. So this should be minus Q and separation between them is small. Now suppose if this charge is 5 nanocoulomb, this should be minus 5 nanocoulomb. So that for the dipole, the total charge should be 0. That is because we learned in first lecture that charges add up as scalars. Net charge here then would be equal to, we call as Q net, that is equal to sum of these two charges, which is plus Q minus Q, that is equal to 0. So for a dipole, the net charge is 0. There are many examples of dipole. The most common examples are HCl, H2O. We'll take up what these dipoles in detail in the later chapter. For now, just to make sense out of it, if we think of HCl molecule, then we'll have a H plus ion and then a Cl minus ion. So this hydrogen has excess of protons and this has excess of electrons. So this charge would be plus E and this would be minus E. Now this would constitute a dipole. Keep in mind that the charges may have different masses also, but what is more important is they should have same charges. So don't be of the impression that a dipole should have equal mass also. The masses can be equal or may not be equal, but practically in most cases the masses are unequal. The electric field of a dipole was already discussed in the previous lectures, which would be of this type. These are called as electric lines of force, and recall that a tangent drawn at any point to the line of force, this tangent would give direction of electric field at that point. So this is what is called as a dipole or an electric dipole. Now we define a term called as electric dipole moment. Keep in mind that you all might have learned in first year that moment means something with distance. It is not momentum, it is moment. So moment deals with distance. Here this dipole moment is defined as the product of magnitude of any one of the charge and distance between them. Conventionally, if you call this as say plus Q and this as minus Q, conventionally their separation is called as 2A. So most books at this level would call their separation as 2A. There's a reason for it, we will see in the next slide, but it is called as 2A conventionally. Now here we define a term called as dipole moment, and that is a vector quantity. This dipole moment is defined as the product of any one charge into their separation. In terms of direction, we define a unit vector called as P cap. This P cap is denoted or is defined to be from minus Q to plus Q. So P cap would be in this direction. If you call this point as A, this as B, then P cap is from A to B. So you put here as P cap, or some books will write this dipole moment as Q into just vector 2A, where here A means it is from minus to plus. So both are equivalent. As given here, dipole moment is directed from minus Q to plus Q. Now what you can do here is, in such cases, it becomes easy to represent this by just a vector quantity. So from now on, if I just put a vector quantity of certain direction, it means that this end would be a negative charge and this would be a positive charge. Because such representations become easy to understand when we have dipoles in a given medium. That becomes clear in the next chapter. So now understand that the direction of P is from minus Q to plus Q. Since dipole moment is defined as the product of any one charge, magnitude and separation, that is in scalar form, or just its magnitude, is equal to Q into 2A. So its SI unit would be coulomb meter. Keep in mind that it is coulomb meter because many students write by mistake as small c, small m. This indicates centimeter, which is not correct. It is capital C, small m, which is called as coulomb meter. In a dipole, there are few important points. If you call this as, say, charge plus Q and this as charge minus Q, an imaginary line passing through the two charges, line passing through them, this charge or this line, which is imaginary, is called as an axial line. So it is called an axial line because it is passing through their axis. And also, if we can put a plane, if we put a plane which is perpendicular to the axis, so I draw a plane like this. This plane is normal to the axis and passing through center. This plane is called as equatorial plane. But from side view, as we saw in the previous class, that if you look at a credit card or any, for that matter, any, say, rectangle, in seeing from the front, we would see a rectangle, but in seeing from sideways, you would see a straight line. So if you redraw this from the front view, not from this point of view, but from front point of view, that is from the side, if you look at this view, then what we see would be a line only. So many books will just draw a line, but basically it is a plane called as equatorial plane. So these are important lines or planes for dipole. One is called as axial plane, which is passing through the two charges, and one is equatorial plane. In fact, it's axial line, not a plane. It's axial line and an equatorial plane. Now here, we need to find the electric field at 2 points. In the first case, you will find the electric field at any point on the axial line, and second would be to find the electric field at any point on the equatorial plane. So let's first begin the first derivation, where we are required to find electric field at any point on the axial line. So we'll assume two charges called as plus Q and then minus Q, and let this be their axial, the axis basically. So this is charge plus Q, this is charge minus Q. Let the points be A and then B. Now we can take the point to be to the right of point B or left of point A. Now what books will do is, it depends on the book also. Some books will take the point to be the right of point B or left of point A. In this case, let us take the point as point P to the right of point B. So our aim is to find the electric field at this point P. Now in this case, we need a reference point. Now the reference point can't be B or A because point B is very close to point P and point A is very far from point P. So the points B or A cannot be the reference point. Remember that the distance between A to B is called as 2A. So to overcome this problem, we need a common reference point, and that point should be the center of the dipole. So the center of dipole, which you call as C, is taken as a reference point. So our aim here is to find the electric field at the point P such that the distance between the center of dipole and the point P is some r. So we need to find the electric field here. We learnt in the earlier lectures that the charges kept at point B and charges kept at point A, these two charges would create their own fields, and we need to add them by vector addition, and that is called as principle of superposition of vectors. Now here in this case, let's first find what is the field which the charge at point B creates. Since it is a negative charge, the field because of the minus q would be towards the charge like this, and this I call as E suffix minus, because it is the field because of the minus charge. Now here this E minus in terms of magnitude is given as k into charge magnitude into distance square, that will be bp the whole square. In that case, the distance between C to B would be A, and then A to C would be A. So to get this distance as A, conventionally the distance between A to B is taken as 2A. Otherwise, if the distance between A to B is taken as A, then the distance between the reference point would be to the any one end would be A by 2. So it becomes a little inconvenient to write the equations. For that purpose alone, it's been called as 2A, nothing beyond that. So in this case, it is equal to KQ by BP is nothing but it will be CP minus CB, that will be R minus A the whole square. Keep in mind that in case of electric field, we just write the charge magnitude in vector form. This E is equal to KQ by R minus A the whole square along, it is along PB, is what we get. Now similarly, this is E minus. Similarly, the charge kept in point A, which is a positive charge, will create its own field, and we learned in the previous lectures that a positive charge would create a field which goes out radially. So at the point P, the field because of this would be going out like this. This we call as E plus. So E plus is the charge, is electric field created by the charge plus Q. E plus in terms of magnitude would be equal to KQ by AP the whole square, is equal to KQ by, you can write AP as AC plus CP, that is you can write AP as AC plus CP, that becomes AC would be A and then that would be R, so it becomes R plus A the whole square. In vector form, we can write E plus as KQ by R plus A the whole square, it is along AP. Now the net electric field, you just call as EA, which means it is the field along the axial point, by principle of vector addition, it would be E plus E minus. Remember, this is in terms of vector addition only. Just remember this understanding equation, whether vectors are like this or vectors are like this or vectors are different directions or in same direction. In all the case, the vector equation is of same form only. This means you're adding vectorially, keep in mind. But in case of one dimension, because here E plus and E minus are in same direction only, they're in same direction, so in that case signs are sufficient. So if we take this as plus sign, for example, if you assume this is a plus direction, because recall here E minus would contribute more because it is close to the point P. If you call this as plus direction, then this equation transforms to the form EA is equal to E minus of E plus. Understand this? If I'm taking this as plus direction, you can take this also as plus direction, doesn't make a difference. I'm just taking this as plus direction. Now look at this. E minus is along our direction and then E plus is opposite to what we've taken. This is what we get. Suppose if I taken this as plus direction, if somebody is confused, if you take this as the origin, if you take this as x-axis, in that case E plus would become positive and then E minus become negative. Then this equation transforms to the form EA is equal to, it will be E plus of minus E minus. Do remember here E plus is a single term. Here it is E suffix plus. It just shows that it is because of the charge, positive charge. If these are confusing to students, you all can take it as EA and EB. The form would be still same only. Just that books called as E plus and E minus. So be careful with these notations. E plus means it is the electric field because of the charge, positive charge, and E minus is the electric field because of the negative charge. So keep this in mind. Then what we get here is, by our convention, since we've taken this to be plus direction, this would be E minus, because E minus is with a direction and then E plus is opposite to what we've taken. So this becomes minus of E plus. Putting it back here, EA is equal to E minus was given as K Q by R minus A the whole square minus of E plus is given as K Q by R plus A the whole square. Now from here, if you look at this, KQ is common, so E plus is equal to KQ comes out. What remains is 1 by R minus A the whole square minus 1 by R plus A the whole square remains. Now from here cross multiply and take the LCM, and what we get would be KQ into, it will be R plus A the whole square minus R minus A the whole square by, it will be R minus A the whole square into R plus A the whole square. If you expand this is equal to KQ, expand the terms, the first term would be R square plus A square plus 2 into A into R minus of, you open a small bracket here, it will be R square plus A square minus 2 into A into R by, we can write this term as R minus A into R plus A the whole square. And if you open the brackets numerator, this becomes KQ by into, open the bracket, R square plus A square plus 2 into A into R minus open the bracket here, r square minus a square, and this, the last term would be minus of minus, which becomes plus. So plus 2 into a into r by this term would be, this is of the form a plus b into a minus b, which would be a square minus b square. So it becomes r square minus a square. There is the whole square also, because this term would be r square minus a square. From here, r square gets cancelled and then a square gets cancelled. So what remains would be the numerator is equal to kq into 4ar by r square minus a square. Recall what was 2a into q. Recall that p was given as q into 2a. So you can write this as, if you pull out 2 from here, 2 comes out, we get k, and this q into 2a would be p. So p into r by the square here, don't forget it. It will be r square minus a square, the whole square. So this is the electric field for a given point. The value is positive here. Now we take a case for short dipole. So for short dipole means that the distance between the dipoles is small compared with the distance of the dipole from the point where we need to find the electric field. So for short dipole, A would be less than R. In that case, A square, if you square it, A square would be very much less than R square. That would mean that R square minus A square is almost same as R square only. Keep in mind all these notations. That is because think of a huge, say, tank. From a huge tank, if small amount of water is taken out, in that case the tank's volume will not change much. That's the meaning of these notations. If you write it back here, then what we get would be EA, which means the electric field at the axial point, that is equal to 2 kpr by this term here would be r square, because r square minus a square is same as r square, the whole square. That becomes r power 4. So from this, 1r gets cancelled here. Finally, what we get is electric field. Therefore, for a short dipole, the electric field along the axial point is equal to 2 kp by r cube. This is the required expression. But keep in mind that electric field is a vector quantity. Therefore, in vector form, EA would be 2 kp by r cube. In terms of direction, recall here, E minus is dominating because that is close to the point P. Here E minus is dominating, so the net field would be in this direction. So EA would be in this direction. But remember that we define P cap to be from minus q to plus q, which means the net field is from negative to positive charge. So that becomes here vector form into P cap. So this is the required expression. Now try and see what would have been the electric field when we taken a point to the left of charge A. Suppose we taken a point here, then how the field would have been. In all the cases, the form remains same. That form is the electric field is equal to 2 kp by r cube. This form remains as it is. Thank you.